Welcome to Women Disrupting Tech. My name is Dirk-Jan Hupkes, and on this podcast I give the women who work in tech the platform they need to inspire and empower each other. Join me on a journey into the world of entrepreneurship, funding, biases and role models to discover the strategies for success in the tech industry. In other words, how women can disrupt tech. Are you ready to listen? Hey, welcome back to Women Disrupting Tech, and thank you for tuning in to episode 121. I'm your host, Dirk-Jan Hupkes, and today I'm joined by Dayana Marin Valencia. Dayana is the co-founder of Adasight, a company that helps startups and scale-ups unlock the full potential of their data. Originally from Colombia and now based in Amsterdam, Dayana and her husband built their company during the AI boom without VC funding. And in this episode, Dayana and I discuss how she pulled that off. By listening, you'll discover how data can be a co-pilot for growth, learn why she and her husband created a remote-first global team from day one, and see how bootstrapping shaped Adasight's success during the AI boom. What struck me in our conversation is how she frames entrepreneurship as a purpose, as a way to build something meaningful while helping others to do the same. In the end, it's a beautiful, deeply personal conversation that I hope captures the essence of Adasight as a company and Dayana as a person. So when you're ready to listen and learn how Dayana bootstrapped Adasight to global growth, please welcome to Women Disrupting Tech, Dayana Marin Valencia.
So how I started as co-founder of Adasight. So for this, I would like to give a little bit background about me. So I was always very entrepreneurial. So I was born and raised in Colombia. I did study industrial engineering, and then when I graduated was 2012. It was the boom of technology. Facebook had some years already in the market. Many startups were popping up,
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to pivot my career, and I was very attracted by technology. So then I started taking a lot of courses, and one of those courses was at Stanford. Stanford opened a global program for people to upskill. So then we form a group. So the methodology was to form a group, and the group had to create a startup and also had to pick a lane. And then I picked the marketing lane
Uh-huh.
and I became a marketeer. So that's how basically I decided to go by that. I was very passionate about numbers and also the combination with business creativity. So I think it was perfect for me. Then after that experience, then with my teammates at the university, we decided to launch a startup company. We were backed by the government, by the Ministry of Technology back then. So that was my first entrepreneurial experience. But we noticed we lack of skills. I mean, we were in Colombia in a very small town. We were talking about the startups. Nobody could really understand what we were talking about. So at that particular time, then we said we need to probably leave or to be in a place where we can be encouraged then to talk about technology. So then I decided then to start looking for a master abroad. So that startup didn't work in the end. So I started looking for masters abroad, and then I joined the UVA and the FU in Amsterdam for a master in business with some focus on entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up in Amsterdam. So then I was already having this interest, of course, in marketing. So my first jobs were in marketing until I ended up at booking.com. That was one of my references in tech. And I ended up doing international marketing, managing the advertisement in long tail. It was called long tail. So in companies like Groupon, Honey Science, Capital One. So we were basically advertising booking.com to gain market share of those in those markets. And that's kind of the beginning.
Hmm.
Then you ask me how Adasai came to the picture. The thing is, despite of having a corporate career, I wanted to do a startup again. So with my husband, who is also my co-founder, we're a little bit thinking, what can we do? So he was working first at Optimizely, that was an A/B testing company, quite famous. Then he was hired by Amplitude, that is a product analytics company. And then I was coming from marketing. So we decided to join forces and then basically created Adasight. So that was a little bit how the story came. We saw a gap in the market. We saw that all scale ups have a marketing team, have a product team, but when it comes to the growth operations, specifically for data and analytics, they fell short. And then we thought it's not quite there yet to have a full time team, but it's needed. So then we decided then to kind of join forces and create a service that address that need. So Gregor's company went IPO while he was there, so he had some capital. I also had my capital from my shares at Booking.com, so we decided then to give it a go. So that's how Adasite came.
Okay, and where does the name Adasight come from?
The name Adasite. So when we started like searching for a name, ChatGPT came along as well, was in beta. And we were like searching for a name, and then I was very inspired by the story of Ada Lovelace. She was the first um, woman computer programmer, basically talking to machines, using data to talk to machines. So I was very inspired by the story. And then I decided to use part of her name for our company, and then Insights. It's the second part. So
Hmm.
that's how the name came.
Okay, so Ada Lovelace, I think the assistant, no, the companion of Charles Babbage,
Yes, yes, that's exactly.
and then insight into data. And you focus on marketing data or data more broadly?
No, it's marketing and also product data. So, yeah, it's both. But we not only focus on data. So, recently we launched more services so that we name GrowthOps. So, GrowthOps is a combination of data processes, analytics processes, experimentation, and also optimizing workflows with AI and agents.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit more broad now than when we started.
Okay, cool. So it's about data, but also then the sort of second step, what I'm hearing you say is you're using that data to optimize your product, your operation flows, etc. So maybe good to if you can explain a bit what the problem is that the startups that you help run into and why that is a problem and why they don't seem to have a solution yet.
So how I will define the problem. I think when a company starts, there are more important things than data because you have to kind of balance different roles within a company. You have sales that is the primary, or marketing, acquisition of users, etc. And I think like data comes a little bit to a second place. But what I have seen that the startups made the mistake is that they don't measure early. So then when it comes to pivot or optimize product market fit, they don't know how because they don't have any reference data to do so. So we advocate for startups to start early in the journey. You don't need to have a complicated setup. You don't need to see data and analytics as something complex, but rather lean and having those early indicators, data from your customer reviews, data from heat maps, from your tracking, just to guide your efforts, what you are going to do next, or if you think it's necessary to pivot, why, and then trying to explain that. With the data as a co-pilot, I don't think data is a decision maker. I would see it as a co-pilot, and that you need that to make decisions. And
Hmm.
that's what we do. We are the co-pilots of marketing and product teams.
Okay. And you then also help more strategically, I guess, on the pivots companies have to do.
Yeah, I think there are different phases. I think when a company is early phase, they are looking for product market fit. Sometimes
Mm,
they have to do wild pivots.
yeah.
Some other times when they are more in a scale up phase, they have to find the hints on what to double down, what to scale down.
Mm,
And that's how Adasight helps them. So data has many use cases, can be optimizing channels for marketing. If you have a budget of, example, $1 million per month, you need to know how to distribute that to reach your user acquisition goals, your revenue goals. So that's kind of a use case on a more scale up phase. But when you are an early product, you still need this data then to kind of guide what brings more retention, what brings more engagement, and then just to polish that product.
okay. And is ADA side then a sort of layer that comes on top of the existing, let's say, data or systems layer, or how do I see that integration wise?
Um, we are we are a fractional team that comes in, and then we also have our AI products. So more recently, we developed our AI analyst that basically takes data from marketing, from product, and can help a marketer answer basic or complex questions from their data or product teams. So we have processes and then we also have tech on top of those processes. But within other side team, there is an array of talent, team members, and people that also support it strategically because I think, as I explained earlier, the data is a co pilot. You need to read the data with context, you need to read it with expertise. So it's not, when you hire a junior analyst, this person maybe hasn't worked in a tech company, hasn't seen many products. So it's basically seeing just a piece of the picture. And then that's basically how we collectively try to help those companies from our expertise and different experience with different companies.
Okay. And when do companies come to you? That's more when they're in growth stage, or can it also be, let's say, I'm building a product and want to know what works, yes or no?
Both. We have been supporters of early phase companies. So we also recently did a partnership with Project Europe where we support early phase companies trying to find product market fit and trying to read basically qualitative data, quantitative data to find those leverages, if we want to call it like this. But also in a growth scale is where this becomes super relevant. I would say like more mandatory
Hmm.
in that way because you have big budgets, you have a lot of features within a product, you have a lot of noise, and then you need to cut through the noise to really know what to do next and what makes sense to actually do and invest your resources with. So I think both are important, but as a company scales, of course, this process becomes more complex, and other side has a lot to offer when it comes to the scale up phase.
Yeah. Let's switch gears for a bit, because you're a remote company, largely remote company. In fact, you're not in Amsterdam when we are recording this. Um, how do you look at the return to the office debate that is currently going on?
Yeah, that's a good question. And yeah, reason why we started this company as a first remote company. So when I was at Booking, I was working global markets. So I have teams in the US, in APAC, Australia, like LATAM, everywhere. So I really enjoy this combination and the talent from everywhere, like that kind of philosophy. So then when we started Other Site, I wanted to bring the same. So I wanted a global team. I envisioned having clients from everywhere. So that was kind of part of the vision. And then we managed to do that. We have team members from Moldova, Japan, Germany, Spain, Pakistan, Indonesia, pretty much everywhere. I think the only requirement is being very talented and, of course, bring value to the company. So I was very fortunate to bring people from Sony, from Y Combinator companies like Marcos in Pakistan, for instance. We also have a team member from Gojek that is a unicorn in Indonesia. So I think that mix of talent was very important. And I think being open for remote allowed me to gather the team.
So for you, it's actually it was sort of a design principle, let's say, even.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was by design, it was in purpose that we decided to define it that way. Our clients come also from everywhere because my network was also from everywhere in a way. So first, when we started looking for clients and that, then a network was very important. So that also set the tone where our team members were gonna be because we are spread from day one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how do you attract the right talent?
Mm, how we did in other side. So I think it was the philosophy. We were positioning ourselves like first remote company, so that by nature attracts talent. But we were also kind of trying to put brilliant people together. So we were like, okay, we are people from everywhere with many backgrounds. We have worked at all these companies, and then we have to help these companies scale, and we have to solve hard problems. And I think by nature that attracted the right people. Sometimes I joke with Gregor that I'm like chief recruitment officer instead of CEO because one of my focuses was attract the right talent for the company. And I was interviewing every single member of Adasight um, from the beginning, right? There was times where I have even 10 interviews a day for certain roles. So I was very, very focused on that, on attracting the right people.
And so far, has it brought you what you hoped to get out of it?
Yes, definitely. I believe it did. I also focus a lot on promoting other site as well. I believe that it's not, that I was not focusing only on market fit or that, but companies actually have a picture of other site when they go on LinkedIn, when they go on Gregor's or my profile, that they know who the founders are. So we are, in the end, we are people working with people. So I think it's important to have those references as well. And then I think all of this together plus the approach, the values of the company help us to attract the team we needed.
Okay. And how do you manage this? Because you have people in Pakistan, in Indonesia, in Latam. They're in different time zones. They're different people, different cultures. How do you manage that? Is that one stand up a day where everyone is present that is sort of picked at a central moment in time, or how does this work operationally?
Operationally, I would say it's interesting. I think everyone works in the time that works best for them as well. We try to have an overlap of 4 hours at least between different time zones. So that might be a challenge sometimes, especially when we are traveling, when we are in the US. We also have team members in Germany, Spain, and so on. So we are very, very spread. So important to have an overlap. We have weekly calls. We have two weekly calls basically where we gather the whole team, and there are specific team calls. So then in those we have the team organized per squads, and then they have their own rituals, their own kind of way of working. So I wouldn't say we try to be in meetings where like the whole team is often we try to avoid that because of the time zones. But it has worked well. It's very asynchronous. We use Slack, we communicate, we give a lot of updates. We are building in public, so we are very transparent as how we build the company, how the sales are doing. Like we have different channels to communicate that too. So I think that has helped how we work.
You also, because you founded Adasight sort of during the AI boom, uh, but you chose to bootstrap. And I was wondering why, except that you had some capital lying around to deploy, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, so it was very interesting because was in the middle of the AI boom, and then we saw even more opportunity. Was probably the perfect time for us to start in a way and to learn new skills and also to find the value proposition of the company. Why we decided to go bootstrap? That's a very interesting question. I think for us, we didn't have institutional capital. We didn't raise any money, but we have the capital that I explained earlier, that it was basically our own. So we have our own way. And that own way was quite risky when I think about it. Even a bit naive because I quit the job and I have a wrong way, and then I still have to find market fit in
Yeah,
a way. But I wanted to believe that this was gonna be fast and this was gonna be the case. But I was fortunate that I have that capital, and I was fortunate as well that after 4 months of the company, we have several clients line up basically, and we were working through several clients. But um, it is, I would say it's not that simple either. There were moments as well where I wish it would be good to have more leverage, right? But I think it also gave us the tools to focus on revenue rather than raising capital. And Gregory and I were very obsessed to get clients for other side and to value and to find what was our service market fit, basically. So I think that remove a little bit the distractions and allow us to refine our offering that people were willing to pay for. And that was the focus.
so it gave you actually the focus on getting the first clients through the door and to make something that was meaningful for them.
Yes, I believe that was important. Many investors, when I was, like had just quitted booking, some investors approach. It's like, why you are building? And then I was like, well, it's service companies, right? It's no, also not investor thing. But I believe I wanted to prove, okay, people are willing to pay for this and I can scale that up basically. And later I can see if there is opportunity to develop tech products and being more informed and also and more comfortable with my journey, I would say.
So can you talk us through a case where you helped one of those early clients? Maybe not name the name of the company, but just give the use case that you worked on and how you solved it.
Yeah, there have been, I think I will like to make a distinction. So with companies that are early phase, we allow them to measure basically. Like I think they never heard the word of measurement. There are founders that are very eager and have a lot of energy and so on. But when it comes to find product market fit, I think certain guidance is needed. So we have helped them to measure that towards product market fit to attract the first sticky users, and then just to detect that this basically the data works like a diagnosis, right? You have marketing, you have product, and it's basically measuring the functions and trying to find what you need to do more of. So we have helped these early stage companies in that journey. More mature companies, we have several cases, but maybe the most recent one was a company that was already investing like 500,000 per month in advertisement, and then they wanna manage their channel distribution basically, and that we advise them like how they could invest this budget better across channels, etc. And also then a full journey. That means what to do as well when it comes to the product, what to change, which features are more relevant than others, and then cut the noise. And then that company from like where it was spending 500 in advertisement with an ROI of 50% became like an ROI of 100%, and then also improve retention along the way. So I think when we are able to achieve those results, companies stick with other side for
Yeah.
long time. Yeah, but I wouldn't say permanently, because at some point as they mature, they also start building this engine in house, and knowledge transfer is also one thing that other side does as well. And that's okay. And that's also part of our model.
So talk to me then also about the knowledge transfer. How do you, because you sort of help them build something, and then how do you transition that knowledge to them? Is it also recruitment that you do for the data analyst that they hire later, or is it job descriptions, or is it processes that they have to run?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yes, in fact, there are all these things part of it. One thing is the team design, right? Like how the team needs to be structured then to support this growth ops. We have a lot of people in our network with the skill set as well. So if we need to introduce also new people to form that team, we are also capable to do so. And that's part also of the knowledge transfer. And then all the processes that Adasai handles little by little start being owned by the company. Why we think this is important? Some companies are fine with this setup, so that other side continues being this growth ops department for them. But some other companies, um, tech is embedded, it's part of their value proposition, and data is basically the core of that value proposition. So at some point, it becomes necessary even to have it in house. So other side supports with talent, with tech products, because now I just mentioned the small product we are testing at the moment. So we can support them in that journey, basically, but we don't need to be always with them.
Okay. So what do you consider most optimal if you had to run a company, let's say in a marketing area? Would you do it in house over the in the long run? Eh? So initially you have
Other side.
the other side is a fractional data officer, but do, would you then advise a company to over time transition or to keep it at
Okay,
either
to
side?
tell like this, it really depends. So there are, for instance, e-commerce as is an example, where they have a lot of different type of operations that are not necessarily related to marketing of or data. So in their case, they need to scale differently. And then for that a scenario, sometimes it's good to have a long-time partner like Adasight. However, there are different companies like B2B SaaS, tech companies where they don't have anything physical beyond the product. And then for them, the data is like, and then they might want to be the next Netflix, the next Booking.com. And then also the philosophy of those companies was data. It's such an important part of them. And then it's good to have some company helping at the beginning of that journey. But as they scale way beyond, I believe it's important to have it in house. And then in that a scenario, we can serve with technology, we can serve as consulting company, we can serve introducing the right talent for that next phase. But I would advise to do that eventually.
So basically, if data is, let's say, a byproduct, then you keep it within ADA side. If it's central to your value prop to your company, you shift to in-house over time, and that's where the consultancy and the recruitment and the the team building, let's say, comes in.
Yes, definitely. And that's also why we focus on AI product as well, that we can serve to those companies and upskilling. There are many things we do with them as well. So we always optimize what's best for the company. The moment that we don't help the company reach their results, then it's like, it's then
Yeah.
yeah. So
If
that
it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's as simple as that in the end.
exactly. So, and also what is more optimal, and then that's one of the principles of other side, what is more optimal for the company at a particular phase, and then that's
Okay.
um
Let's move to the role of women in AI because you're a woman in AI, in tech. Did you have any role models growing up?
yes, I did have role models. Well, of course, my mom, my family. I believe they were very entrepreneurial, very hardworking. And I think in tech, as I was in Colombia, I was missing that a little bit. I didn't have many people that were talking about tech, that were having a startup, that were raising capital or any of that sort, and that made me a little bit to seek that elsewhere. And as I was telling earlier, then I moved then to Amsterdam, and then I started, of course, having my references, having my mentors, and then, yes, I had different role models across my career in corporate and also as entrepreneur.
Yeah. So, but and also mentors within booking.
Yes, I have a mentor within booking, and I would advise everyone to have a mentor. So if you want to grow in your career, there are many decisions as well you have to make. I was still young, had I was unlocking different roles, different responsibilities, and then you are discovering as you go. So it's important to have someone that can speak from their experience and can help you navigate the challenges specifically from the corporate, which are very specific. Um, in as entrepreneur, absolutely.
How did you choose your mentor then?
How I chose my mentor. My mentor at Booking was the VP of Measurement and Marketing. I was in a role that it was very data driven. I have a global scope, have to deal with multiple countries, with multiple cultures, negotiation way, um, etc. So I thought his experience was very relevant. And then I was very ambitious as well. As I was in the corporate, I wanted to grow fast, etc. So I think it was a good match.
Yeah. Did you choose him or did he choose you or she? Was it a man or a woman, by the way?
It was a man. It was a man, but it was both ways. It was both ways. He was in an area measurement, which I really like at Booking. I was very passionate also about A/B testing. Booking was pioneer. He was many years in the company, and then yeah, we just met within the company, and then I decided that he was gonna be my mentor, and then I said, "Oh." It was like that, and then
He was appointed mentor.
yes, and then I'm like, "Okay, you be my mentor," and then I really wanna develop in these areas, and I wanna grow in the company, and then, that's how the mentorship started, yeah.
Okay. And so you had your parents as role models for the entrepreneurial side. You had your mentor within booking. How important were these to you in terms of career path, in terms of making other side work?
I believe it is according to different phases in lives. I think Dayana in Colombia, they had certain challenges that my parents helped me navigate. And for those, then they were mentors. But as I moved to Amsterdam, I had different challenges to navigate. So I had teachers that were mentors. And then in my career at Booking, I had a mentor. But as entrepreneur, I also needed mentors where they have been either other founders with a lot of experience, managing people, hiring a team, raising capital, launching different products. So I think in different phases of life, depends on what you want to accomplish. You need to surround by people who can help you accomplish that, who can introduce you to the right people, who can also teach you, share their expertise, and then that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to switch back for a minute to the mentor. Can you share an example of a critical moment in your career at Booking where having that mentor helped you?
Yes, there were um, many moments, especially when I was looking for a promotion, like just trying to see gaps. There were moments where I was spreading too thin, where I was trying to do many things at once, trying to cover many projects, many areas. So I needed certain guidance on what kind of projects to choose, what would be more beneficial for the next step, and then things like that. I would say also projects with different areas of booking as well. I did projects with measurement, I did projects with media, I did several projects as well on that
Okay,
curiosity. Yeah.
okay, and that was also there. He helped you out with guidance on how to do things and where to go and who to talk to.
Yes, absolutely. And then I think also the culture at Booking was very collaborative. As well, where people were very happy to share their knowledge of the different areas as well. So I was not shy to go and talk to, the head of media, to understand certain things better, to learn about certain area of the company better. So I would say, yeah, people are just open to help you, and then that's one of the things I will highlight about the culture
Okay,
there.
yeah. Well, in a more corporate setting, what can men do to ensure that women that we get A, more women into AI, and B, that they also flourish.
Yeah, I would say when you say like, "Oh, I support women," I would say it's support translates to me like introductions. It's like make sure that she is in the room where she was not invited in the first place, and then trying to support and to advocate when we see talent, because I will include myself also in that. When I have seen talented people in other side, I make sure to highlight them as well, to give them a stage where they can speak about their expertise and their talent. And I think that's very important, especially for the young talent. And I have been supported throughout my career. And I think that's what I would continue doing. I would expect other people also do.
Okay. So, but do you then also expect other people to pay it forward? So the people who receive your advice, your mentorship, your sponsorship.
No, I didn't mean that way necessarily. I meant in general, um, how important is supporting like young talent. And then
Hmm.
when you see talented people, talented young woman, is like, then you ask yourself, how can I support? And then at this point, at my 34 years old, Diana, I have a network, I have a company, and if I can give this talented person an intro, a stage, I will do. So I think it's in general more that an invitation to be open and open door for others, and especially when we don't see a lot of that. So you were asking me, oh, we don't see a lot of women in tech, in AI, and then, but if you encounter one that's very talented, just make sure she has the right support, and then she is introduced to the right people, and you can advocate for her as well.
Yeah. How important is it though to pay that forward? I mean, you are doing that because you received the sponsorship and the mentorship within Booking. So, how important is that to sort of build a culture, build a structural solution where women in tech, in AI, in data feel that's
Yeah, I believe it's extremely important to. I feel that it's a little bit, I don't want to feel that it's in depth, but I felt I was supported, therefore I should support others as well. But I will invite people in general from like, if you have a tech position, if you're an entrepreneur, I always feel the need to be open. And then I feel like that's very, very crucial, especially if you are an entrepreneur as well. So I think in this phase of life, I'm more reflective of how important it is to pay forward. Maybe before I didn't reflect as much, but now as entrepreneur, I'm vocal about it. I advocate and I try to do so. And and yeah, it's very important to pay forward.
yeah. Yeah, and I understand that this comes later in life, don't get me wrong, but it's more it just I mean you need to build up something to for yourself as well. A bit of footing, let's
Yeah,
say.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a woman listening who is in a corporate job like you were, and who's thinking of starting in something in data or AI. What would you advise her? And let me rephrase that a tiny bit. Would you advise her to first look within the company, or would you advise her to go somewhere else and find your own way?
It really depends. I think sounds maybe cheesy what I'm gonna say, but sometimes you feel it, right? And then I feel there are different moments in life where you want different things. And then at that particular moment when I decided to start my second company, that's how I felt. So I was very sure about I wanted to follow my entrepreneurial call, if you want to say it like this, and I planned for it. So I have a runway. I was very diligent to have a plan. And I think for us in corporate, I think that's important because we already have a career, certain expectations, mortgage, certain obligations. So you cannot be that light about it. I was living abroad on my own, right? I have a husband as well who is also my co founder. So it's like we are both on the same boat. So we have to plan this strategically. So I would advise to have a plan. Follow your intuition if you really want to pursue, if it's an area you are passionate about, you see a gap, that opportunity, you cannot let it pass, then go for it and have a runway. I would advise that too.
Yeah, that's usually quite helpful, as I'm finding out myself. Anyway, um, so I want to rewind a bit to earlier in the conversation. You said that you had been talking to investors really early on, but decided to bootstrap anyway. Um, so the podcast starts with the statistic that only 2% of VC money goes to female-led companies. What are investors missing when they're looking at female-led and bootstrapped companies?
I would say so. It's quite interesting because bootstrap companies, there are different ways, right? You can have a tech product. In our case, was services, and then we were quite successful, I would say,
Hmm.
against the odds. We have a seven-figure revenue. We have a team of 15 people, and we are only 2 years and a half in the market. So I think we were very systematic. We had experience already. So I think that was a big plus that we could leverage that corporate experience that Gregor and I had. And then basically we had seen things before. So then we can build on top.
Hmm.
So I think what investors might miss is that maybe that expertise as well. Somebody had a career and then decided to go for a company. You need to have conviction. So I would say that can be missed as well. Of course, you I'm not in my 20s, but I have certain experience that allow me now to scale this company. So I would say this might be overlooked. and for other people as well. I'm not the only case that is overlooked in that case. I also feel, in a way, instead of chasing growth erratically, we were chasing for a sustainable model, a company that can last, like different crises that can last over time.
Yeah.
And I think that that's very particular of the trait of women. I would say that you build something that lasts. It's like, I would describe it in that way. But yeah, I would say those two things.
Do you think investors focus too much on the hockey stick?
Yes, so that's a very good question. I believe, and I think now it's an era where, like, this my company service led approach. We have tech products, but they are not at the core. At the core is the service we offer, how we assemble the team and the systems. So I think, at the beginning, then of course people try to move you into the direction of creating a product, especially like, investors. But I think by now, other side reach certain milestones, I would say, and then I'm willing to go and having those conversations just to kind of demystify if they will be, passing over my model or not. But I would say they prefer, other type of models in
Yeah.
general.
So let's talk about the future. Other side, uh, what's in store? What kind of plans do you have? Where do you want to be in a couple of years?
Now we are focusing, well, as I explained earlier, we are diversifying, our offering. Before we started with data analytics, experimentation second, and now we are in operations, basically scaling operations, applying AI agents and products for growth teams. And that was part of the plan, and we have been executing on that. So that was one thing, expanding the team, of course, getting more clients everywhere. And a second part would be raising capital. We have developed tech products from other side, and we also realized those tech products have a different go-to market as well from what we have built so far. So it would be interesting now at this stage of the company to have external capital too.
Okay. And what type of investor are you looking for? Who's your ideal investor?
There have been recently investors that have also backed companies similar as Adasight, which I was very surprised about, also with service at the core. So I think investors that want a sustainable, profitable model that can last over time, I think Adasight is a company for that. Also, who believe in the mission of AI products for in the operations of growth teams, and then yeah, so I would say that.
Okay, so they have to believe in the mission and they have to focus on sustainable growth more than just that quick buck.
Yes, I would say that, which is very scarce, but let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I absolutely hope this helps you get access to those investors. This podcast. One more question in terms of practical advice that slipped my mind. So let's say I'm a founder and I want to start building an AI agent that helps other men uh, be better allies. Where do I start?
I would say, for me as a woman, I would say, like, mix the groups. Be where women are, be part of the women conversation as well, and then mix women and men together. And then if you encounter a talented woman, then don't hesitate to be advocate. As I said before, to introduce her to the right people, to be in the rooms where she was not invited to. So that would be basically something I would say.
Okay. And do you think that can be done through, let's say, an AI agent? Also to put women in rooms where they were previously not?
Yeah, I think like technology can be used in many ways, and I believe so. So, and also the other way around, right? I think it's important as well to understand each other's, and I think the ecosystem is composed of both of women and also men. So being part of each other's ecosystems realities is quite important for the future, and also building companies and what we are talking about today.
Yeah. So you've had support from mentors and allies yourself. What kind of allyship has made the biggest difference for you?
What kind of allies? I think
Were those the mentor who put you in rooms where previously you weren't?
I think it's different kinds. I think maybe I would highlight more as entrepreneur. I would say sometimes it's not even about that type of support. Sometimes I was feeling that, that it was too much, that the work is heavy, especially as a founder. And sometimes you need encouragement, and then you need to also see other people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish. And they are um yeah, that's you can see that, and then you can take that as reference, and also these encouragement words from people sometimes help you as well to move forward. So in my path as entrepreneurs, I had these people that I could call and said, like, I don't know what I'm doing. This happened, this happened, this happened. It's a roller coaster. There are so many ups and downs, and you can talk to me at 2 p.m. I'm completely happy over the moon, and by 6 something happened, and then you are not over the moon anymore. So
Yeah.
I think like those allies, those founders that you can call and that this happened and can give you encouragement, can also see things that you don't see that clearly because you are very heads down in your journey. So I feel, yeah, has helped me a lot.
Okay. So also people who can sort of pick you up when you're head down, pick you up and give you the bird's eye view.
Yes, yes, that sometimes you don't see it yourself, and that's also important. Yeah.
Sounds like a great place to move to my last question. Um, Thank you for this wonderful conversation. Really enjoyed it. Where can listeners learn more about you and about Adasight?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for making me part of this. I'm very happy to support your mission as well and to be an advocate. People can find me on my LinkedIn as Dayana Marin Valencia and Adasight. Also on LinkedIn, we also have social media. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well, and then happy to be connected with your audience as well there.
Cool. And we'll include those links in the show notes. So, Diana Marin Valencia, thank you very much again for an amazing conversation. Listeners, thank you very much for listening. And until the next episode, keep being awesome. Well, that's it for episode 121 of Women Disrupting Tech with Diana Marin Valencia on how she bootstrapped Adasight to global growth. Diana and I hope that our conversation has given you inspiration for your entrepreneurial journey. And if you have any questions for Diana, please leave them in the comments on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. I'll make sure you receive an answer. When you want to connect with Diana or learn more about Adasight, please use the links in the show notes. And as usual, you can find the show notes at womendisruptingtech.blog. That link is also in the description. If you've enjoyed listening to this episode, please consider leaving a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leaving a rating or a review helps new listeners find the podcast and supports my guests by giving them a bigger platform. If you're a regular listener, please make sure to follow Women Disrupting Tech on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, or YouTube. Following is a simple, zero-cost way to support Diana and my other guests in making inclusion in tech the new normal by the end of 2032. To learn more about Women Disrupting Tech, please follow the podcast on social media. you can find us everywhere as @WomenDisruptingTech. You can also find us on Substack, and there you'll find in-depth stories and behind-the-scenes insights from each episode, plus the trends that I've spotted across 121 conversations. So don't forget to subscribe to Women Disrupting Tech on Substack. Finally, if you'd like to connect with me directly, you can reach out via email dirkjan@womendisruptingtech.blog, or you can connect on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, simply search for my name and you'll find me. With that, I wish you a wonderful day. I hope to see you in the next episode. And until then, as always, keep being awesome.